Hey everyone, so take a look at this. This is the iPhone 12 mini. 5 years after it first came out, it feels, well, it's literally half a decade, doesn't it? In a world of phones that are basically pretty old. But the big question is, here in late 2025, is it a statement worth making? This phone is now running the latest stable release of iOS 26 and I've been spending a lot of time with it. So is this compact powerhouse still a smart buy on the used market? Is it something you as a current owner should hold on to, or has its time finally passed? That's what we're here to figure out. In this video, we're going to do something like re-reviewing this iPhone, but with new software. We'll look at the design and how it's held up, the performance of its 5-year-old A14 chip, and we'll have a very honest talk about the battery. We'll test the camera against what you can get today, and I'll share my full experience using the brand new iOS 26 on this hardware. By the end, you'll know if this phone is right for you, whether you're thinking of buying, keeping, or upgrading. So to really get this phone, you have to remember what 2020 was like. Phones were just getting bigger and bigger. And then Apple did something pretty radical. They released this, the 12 mini. And the key thing to understand is that this was not a budget phone. It wasn't like the iPhone SE of its time. No, this was pitched as a true uncompromised flagship. It had the exact same top-of-the-line A14 Bionic chip as the Giant 12 Pro Max. It had a beautiful Super Retina XDR OLED display. It was the first iPhone generation with 5G, and it had the new ceramic shield front glass, which Apple claimed had 4 times better drop performance. It was, and this was its whole unique selling point, a true no-compromise flagship that you could comfortably use with one hand. Its plus point was, and still is, its size and power, but its real downsides were there from day one, and time has only made them more obvious. We're talking, of course, about the battery life, which even reviewers back then called just adequate. Okay, first up, the design. And honestly, this flat edge aluminum design has aged incredibly well. This is my blue model, and it still feels premium and solid in the hand. The 5.4-inch Super Retina XDR display is still fantastic. It's an OLED panel with a pixel density of 476 ppi, which is actually sharper than some of the newer, bigger iPhones. Colors are great, blacks are perfect, and it supports HDR with a peak brightness of 1200 nits, which is still very respectable. For watching videos or looking at photos, it's a treat. The only place the size can be a bit of a pain is the keyboard. If you're coming from a big phone, it definitely feels cramped, and you might find yourself making more typos at first. Okay, performance. Inside here is the A14 Bionic chip. 5 years is a long time in the chip world, but you know what? For day-to-day stuff, scrolling Instagram, checking emails, browsing Safari, it's still absolutely decent. Apps open pretty quick, not as instant as a new iPhone of course, but it's not frustratingly slow either. Swiping between apps is smooth. I ran Geekbench 6 on this, and it scored 2098 on single core and 4814 on multi-core. For context, that single core score is still really respectable today. The A14 was a beast, built on the 5nm process, which was cutting edge at the time, and it was actually the foundation for Apple's first M1 chip for the Mac. So the architecture is solid. The raw power is still there for most common tasks. But, and this is a big but, this phone only has 4GB of RAM. And in 2025, with modern apps demanding more and more memory, you feel it. Here's a perfect example from my own use. I'll be browsing in Safari, then switch to Apple Music to change a song, scroll through Instagram for a bit, and then jump to the Photos app to find the picture. When I try to go back to Safari, boom, the page reloads. It reloads fast thanks to the A14 chip. But it's a clear sign the phone couldn't keep that app state in memory. For casual use, it's fine. But if you're a heavy multitasker, this will happen to you all the time, and it can get annoying. I also did some gaming on it. I fired up an older but still demanding game, Bully. And yeah, it's playable. But you'll definitely see some frame drops here and there, especially in busy areas. The bigger issue though is heat. This thing gets warm. After about 20-30 minutes of gaming, it gets pretty toasty to hold. I've seen forum posts where people say their hands get baked. Playing games like Minecraft or Genshin Impact, it's a fundamental issue with packing a powerful chip into such a tiny body with less surface area to dissipate heat. The performance is there, but it can't sustain it for long before it starts to throttle and get hot. Now, let's talk about the software, because this is running the public stable version of iOS 26, which just came out a few days ago. And I have to say, I'm really impressed. Apple did a huge visual overhaul this year with this new liquid glass design, and it makes this 5-year-old phone feel surprisingly new. The animations are so fluid, it feels like a massive jump from older versions like iOS 18. Honestly, the software experience is a huge part of why this phone doesn't feel its age. When I first updated it, I did notice it was running a bit warm and the battery seemed to drain faster, but that's pretty normal. The phone is re-indexing all of its system files and your personal data to get settled. After about a day or two, it cooled down and the performance smoothed out completely. So if you do update, just give it some time to adjust. Battery-wise, after it settled, I didn't notice any real improvement or decline compared to before. It's pretty much the same. Okay, let's be upfront about the biggest new feature in iOS 26, Apple Intelligence. The iPhone 12 mini does not support it. You need an iPhone 15 Pro or newer for that. And honestly, for me, that's not a deal breaker at all. You know, Apple Intelligence right now is still in its early stages, kinda like a public beta. For any serious AI tasks, I usually just turn to more powerful and mature alternatives anyway, like Gemini or ChatGPT. So while it's a feature gap on paper, in practice, I don't feel like I'm missing out on much right now. The phone gets the new look and feel, and that's what matters most for its day-to-day usability. Alright, let's talk about the battery. This has always been the 12 mini's biggest weakness. My unit here is at 86% battery health. Now, for my current use case as a backup phone that sits on my desk, for testing betas or for when my main phone is charging, it's totally fine. But if I were to try and use this as my daily driver, I would have serious battery anxiety. Light users might scrape through a day, but moderate to heavy users will absolutely be reaching for a charger by mid-afternoon, if not sooner. I've seen countless posts on forums from users who have to charge 2 or 3 times a day just to get by. If you're out and about, a power bank isn't just a suggestion, it's practically a requirement. And just for full disclosure, everything I'm saying about performance and software also applies to the regular iPhone 12. The main difference is just the size and, crucially, the battery. The regular 12 will get you about 1 to 2 more hours of screen on time, which can make a real difference. For anyone considering one of these, that's the core trade-off you're making. And what about the cameras? The dual 12 megapixel system with a wide and ultra-wide lens is still pretty good. In good daylight, it takes lovely sharp photos with that classic natural looking iPhone color science. Features like night mode and deep fusion help it hold its own. Video is also a strong point, shooting up to 4K Dolby Vision HDR, which was a huge deal back then. For social media, it's more than capable. But let's be realistic. Compared to a modern budget phone like a Google Pixel 8a or 9a, it shows its age. In low light, the newer phones with their advanced computational photography and larger sensors will pull ahead, producing cleaner, brighter images. And you don't get any kind of telephoto zoom here, it's all digital and it doesn't look great. So it's a capable camera, but it's no longer a top tier one. So where does that leave us with the iPhone 12 mini in late 2025? It's a device of contrasts. It's a beautifully designed, incredibly pocketable phone that still feels powerful for everyday tasks and has a fantastic screen, but it's held back by 2 fundamental 5-year-old limitations: its poor battery endurance and its 4 GB of RAM. So my recommendation is going to be different for different people. If you're thinking of buying one, I'd only recommend it if you fit a specific profile. If you are a digital minimalist, someone who wants a phone that's a tool, not a time sink, or if you need a great secondary phone for the gym or weekends. If you prioritize one-handed use above all else and are prepared to carry a power bank or charge during the day, then yes, for under $200, it's a unique and charming device. For everyone else, the battery will likely be too much of a compromise. If you already own a 12 mini and you're a light user and the battery is your only real complaint, don't upgrade yet. Just get a battery replacement for around $90. You can make this phone feel almost new again and easily get another year or 2 out of it. The performance on iOS 26 is good enough to justify it. But if you're a current owner who is a power user, a content creator, or you're just constantly frustrated by the battery and app reloads, it's time to upgrade. The quality of life improvement you'll get from the battery alone on a newer model, even the 13 mini, which had a noticeably better battery, will be massive. And the performance, camera, and huge display upgrade on something like an iPhone 17 is a world of difference. Ultimately, the iPhone 12 mini has found its place in 2025. It's not the mainstream flagship it launched as. It's a niche classic, a tiny titan, and a reminder that sometimes less really can be more. It's a special piece of Apple history, but that's just my take. I'm really curious to hear from you all. Are you still rocking a 12 mini in 2025? What's your experience been like? Let me know everything down in the comments. If you found this video helpful, a like would be amazing. It really helps the channel out. And consider subscribing for more deep dive reviews like this one. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.